Welcome to the Relateable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.
Welcome back to another episode of the Relateable podcast. I hope you guys are restfully recovering from the gentle episode of last week with Michelle. It was very wonderful and much needed. Past couple of episodes have been, it's been a roller coaster. Past couple of episodes of ups and downs, gentleness and volatility. But in this most fantastic episode, we are here to talk about Black love. Okay? So it's something that I'm very much looking forward to. But before we jump into all of that, Chantal, Sherween, how has your week been?
My week has been amazing.
Hey, Missy.
She blew out my ears.
Me too. I'm like, damn, calm down.
My week has been fan-freaking-tastic.
Missy, for capital F.
Hey, listen. When it good, say it good, eh?
You're right.
When it good, say it good. I am on cloud 9 and the week ain't even end yet. It's Wednesday. The week ain't end yet. So it's been wonderful. I did some things that were not even on my bucket list, but they should have been. And I'm putting them on the bucket list just to tick it off. That's how good the week has been. So yes. I don't want to give away too much details because I know, and I don't know, but I'm thinking it might be part of Fiona's as well. So, so boy, oh boy, we had an amazing start to the week. Some of the things we got up to yesterday was just fantastic, life-changing, eye-opening, and leaving room for more. So I'll leave it to Fiona. She'll delve in. But yes, the week has been good to me so far. And I don't want to make some of my other panel hosts jealous. So I will leave it there.
Okay.
Chantal, how has your week been, darling?
Wow. How has my week been? My week has been full on. It's been a mixture of beauty, magic, and crap,
Okay.
So all those things occurring at the same time. If I'm being completely honest, I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now with life in general. I have a lot going on, a lot of great things. I'm also sick. I think for me, I am going through a transition of expansion, and expansion can be quite painful. So there's things that I've had to address, things that I'm going to have to release from my life. And that is not always pretty. Going through, I guess, a metamorphosis is not always pretty because we know, for the caterpillar to turn into the butterfly, we know how painful that actually is for the caterpillar. And so I feel that that's where I am right now. I'm also sick. And when you get these all of a sudden just come over you one-time sickness. And so yesterday I walked into town because I like walking into town. The sun is shining. It really elevates my vibration, my mood, my energy. And I got to this cafe that I work from. And then my health, like literally within 20 minutes, I was coughing. My temperature was going. I'm like, wait, what is going on? But anyway, fine. I work. And I came home last night. Y'all, when you have a fever to the point that you have chills?
Yep.
Yes. So last night I'm thinking, oh, okay. So I got bed and nobody here. But
Why you have to say like that?
Right. I mean, that's how I felt. I was like, wait a minute. But then I woke up this morning and I guess I sweat it all out last night. I woke up
Mm,
this morning. I still have a little bit of a temperature. I'm a bit stuffy, but I'm not feeling the way I was feeling last night.
mm.
So I'm like, what was that? So for the rest of the day, I'm drinking coconut water. I'm minding my business. When I log off today, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to ground myself,
Yeah.
get into the ocean. And I'm very grateful to have these options. But work-wise, I'm very overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not in a great place. So I just have to keep it real as we do on Relatable.
Yeah.
So that's where I am.
It sounds to me like you got something we call épuisant
What is that?
down here. You see the chills, the cold sweat, and then the fever and thing at the same time.
Yeah.
It sounds like that. My mom gets it a lot.
Hmm.
I can't remember what it's called. There's another word for it. We call it épuisant or
Mhm.
fouisson. My
Mhm.
Lucians, if you're listening, help me. Help me. But that's usually what it is. The chills, the cold
Mm.
sweat,
Mm.
and the temperature. And it's mainly at night. You're feeling like your legs, your circulation, everything.
Everything.
Your skin
Everything.
sensitive.
You hear me say I thought I was done dead?
No, you
Mm.
are dead. You're not dead.
But you know, now that you're saying that,
Mm.
Sherween, it's probably linked to my ascending to another level
Yeah, yeah.
of being. So there are parts of me that are dying.
The
So it's not,
sensitivity, yeah.
yeah, all of that. So I'm experiencing some little deaths. And I feel that everything is connected. So our spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical beings are all connected.
Mm.
And so if I am going through this, I'm going through it on all levels. So that's possibly linked, you know? But my
Yeah.
gosh, why it got to be so, man?
Exactly. Like, why?
Can I just not frolic in the ocean and, you know, like,
Exactly.
never.
Well, we was frolicking hard yesterday, I'll tell you
Boy,
that.
You were frolicking hard
boy,
yesterday?
Fiona, I'm coming to you.
Oi. So Fiona, tell us
Chantal,
about this frolic. Oh Lord. Already.
there's an island off the coast of St. Lucia. It's very close, and we had never been. So we walked. Well, I walked to the island. Sherween was the queen of the seas yesterday, being ushered across in a kayak, being pulled by a young and strapping gentleman across to this uninhabited island. But we went across, and because we were doing our Trying a Thing episode, and it's all about sea moss. And yeah, we went across and we discovered this part of St. Lucia that we'd never been to. And seeing like the water is so crystal clear, and it has caves, and it has abandoned buildings, and it has nature like lizards we've never seen before, like ackee tree, mango tree. It was the most stunning day. And we only came there to see the man Seymour's farm. And he kept just giving us, like, a young man in his 20s. And
Giving everything.
he's like very calm, eh? So he gave us like the tour of the island and stuff, whatever. We picked Seymour from his farm. He's like, take more, take more. I say, guys, so we're just making something small,
Wow.
right? And he said, take more, take more. And then he's like showing us how he does it, and how much he like Seymour he makes, and like what it's good for, and this, and teaching us all different things about the island. And then when we were going across the water, like he said, look, there's an octopus there, whatever. And it's like, so he dropped us back on mainland St. Lucia. We went to get something to eat, come back. And like it was on his mind, and that man went and fished for us and caught us octopus, some of his pot fish, sea urchin, and lobsters. So we spent the afternoon frying sea moss akra, completely vegan, made with local flour, breadfruit, and plantain flour. And then we had fresh lobster and fish and sea urchin and all of that whilst watching the sunset
Oh,
and
stop.
drinking sea moss.
Oh,
That's right.
Chantal, it was the world's most perfect day.
oh, It sounds
Chantal,
it. It
The widow's
sounds
most perfect day.
the
divine.
weather was absolutely fantastic. The
Oh,
water was to die for. I cannot think of anything that I didn't like. Everything was just fantastic, fabulous. All the words, all the words, all the words, all the words, all the divine, all
oh,
the words. And yeah, it was just mind blowing that
I love it.
we'd never been.
Okay, okay.
That's the thing. Never been to island right there.
It's
If you go,
literally right there, 10 minutes
yes,
walk, a 10-minute walk across from mainland to the island. If that, because he was pulling
What?
yeah,
me.
because you walk through the water.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's even more beautiful. You
yes,
walk over to it.
yeah, walk through
yeah,
the water. Yeah,
Oh,
you just walk through this
yeah.
reef area and thing like that. Yeah,
But he was pulling me and some other
mhm,
people in the kayaks.
mhm,
So it took him a little longer, but I'm sure if we were not there, it would
mhm.
take him probably 7 minutes to get across.
Amazing. Amazing. So you know, when I'm in St. Lucia, I
We will be
expect.
taking you.
Oh, okay, okay. That's,
girl,
just
there
wanted
it's
to
it
be
is
clear.
so stunning. It's just beautiful. So yes, we had an amazing, very, very grateful,
I love
very,
that.
very, very grateful.
Yeah.
Like the man, like he refused. He didn't want to take any money from us, and he
What?
spent basically his whole day showing us around, doing things for us, helping us. He will pick a breadfruit to roast, all kind of thing. Like he was just like
Oh,
giving, giving, giving. Yeah, man.
amazing. Amazing. I love
We
this.
had a magical day.
I can't stop saying it, but I do. I do. I love that for you guys. I'm actually not jealous.
You happy for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That sounds beautiful. Deserving. We are all
Yes.
deserving of beautiful
Yes.
days.
Yes,
Yeah.
we all are. And yeah, I hope when you come down to St. Lucia, we want to share these things with you because I just want to share it with
Oh.
everybody now. Like how we don't know that, how we've never been there, how.
Right,
And
right,
it's just like, yeah.
right.
So now definitely on the agenda to do more of this.
Lovely. Off the beaten track. I love it.
Yep. Yep. So, ladies, are we ready for the Black love?
Oh gosh, I'm always ready for Black love.
Chantal, well, you always
Ma'am.
ready. I don't know if I'm ready. Honestly, I don't even. It's been racking my brain. I'm like, okay, we're gonna be speaking about Black love. What is Black love?
That's the question. That is the
What
question.
is Black love? Why does it
Mm.
have to be Black love and not just love? What's the difference? What's the definition? What encompasses Black love?
Mm. Well, I'm waiting for you.
Me, me.
You,
I'm on
you.
self-love, honey.
But
But
you're
well,
a
that's
Black
part of Black
woman.
love. What you mean?
Yeah.
That is part of
So,
Black love. I think Black love comes from loving
hmm.
yourself in terms of, okay, let's look at, for example, all of us have been, over the years working out through like decolonizing our minds, right? In terms of, things like, for example, it may not just be your appearance, right, Sherween? Okay, if you've never had a problem with your complexion or your hair texture or your nose size, all them things, right? Fine, no problem. But even looking at the expectations of Black women, right? And what you are doing right now is exercising Black love because you are focusing on yourself, you are resting, you are prioritizing joy, you're doing all of those things which have not been taught for Black women to participate in. Okay? So what you are doing is Black love, actually, especially for a Black woman, not just women generally, right? Though are not allowed to be selfish and all kind of thing, yeah? But what you are doing is Black love, Sherween, actually.
Okay. I like that. I really like that because for me now, it's not all that I'm focused on, obviously, but that's the most important part for me right now, to prioritize that and recognize when I am not prioritizing it, recognize when I'm doing something that's going against it, and just ensuring that this is what I'm going to stick to. So I'm happy to know that, Fiona. Thank you. I have a definition here.
Okay, go for it.
I have a definition. What is true Black love? Now that's Google, eh?
Let's hear what Google has thrown up.
So what is true Black love? Black love is the acknowledgement of making sacrifices. We as a couple have to adapt to one another along with outside forces, which affects one's everyday life. Black love to me can be affectionate, caring, passionate, strong, difficult, painful, cherished. Black love has sustained the test of time.
Whose definition is that? Because that sounds like a couple.
A couple, yes, it
sounds like
is.
someone's actual definition. And that's the thing about, you know, certain terminology. There's no hard and fast definition of what Black love means to one person and to another. So I don't even feel like there is a definitive, you know, this is Black love, but
Yes.
how more around how Black love looks and feels to that particular person and why it's important to them. One of the definitions that I found, it's from a blog called sexualbeing.org. Black love is one rooted in resilience and hope. Black love allows us to reimagine our lineage and connections to ancestors through passion and empathy. So that is their definition of Black love. But I think as individuals, you know, even between Fiona, you and me, we probably all have in our heads what we feel Black love is and why that has now become a buzzword in the realm of social media and popular culture. For me, when I think of Black love, I imagine it to be a love that celebrates our heritage, our shared journeys and experiences. It's a love that very much is steeped in a joint purpose to rid ourselves of generational and ancestral traumas when it comes to relationships within the Black community. Because there is so much that we carry, and not just from the legacy of slavery, but even, you know, but I guess everything in a sense, not everything, but most things can be traced back to the fact that our communities were purposefully fractured and splintered, and our men were used basically as, I don't know, breeding horses. You know, there's so much that we are still healing from as a community. We were made to believe that Black love didn't exist, that it's not legal. Our love hasn't been legal, for heaven's sake.
Literally.
You know, it literally wasn't even legal.
Wasn't legal.
Like, we couldn't even, you know, according to the colonizers, we couldn't even get married, right? There's so much. And so for me, Black love does represent hope. It represents an acknowledgement that we have journeyed through this, our ancestors journeyed through this, and we are making an intentional decision to break down those traumas together. So it's, to me, Black love is very intentional. Healthy Black love is very intentional. And I think the word sacrifice came up, and immediately my back went up, right?
Ah, yes.
Like my back went up. And of course, this
when
is
I saw it,
something,
I was like, okay,
but this is something that is personal to me. And the reason why my back went up was because, you know, usually in relationships, when one speaks of sacrifice, it is the woman who is sacrificing more so. And I could be generalizing, but the burden of sacrifice, especially in the Black community, seems to more often than not fall on the shoulders of Black women. And so when I heard that word sacrifice with regards to our relationships, I'm like, here we go again. You know?
That's their opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And it may not have been saying that it's the woman, but immediately, my little triggers were like, oh, sacrifice. Why we
Yep.
gotta
Yeah,
sacrifice?
sacrifice to me
I
though. I
want,
always
I
feel like, yo,
want,
okay, what again? Your turn is we
yeah,
have to do.
right? Like, what we
Yep.
It's
gotta do
always on our
now?
shoulders. It always
Like, I
feels
don't
like
want to
that.
Sacrifice what?
sacrifice. I don't want to sacrifice, And even our wonderful
Mhm.
Eartha Kitt, when she was being interviewed, and it's a sound bite because if you listen and watch the interview in its entirety, she wasn't actually saying that
That she
compromise
would
shouldn't
never.
be in relationships.
Never.
What she was saying is that at a certain point, you need to know yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you're bringing your whole self. There's two wholes coming together. It's not two halves. So what is being compromised?
Yeah.
It's like compromise for what? What are we
Yeah.
compromising?
Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
I love Eartha Kitt. I love her in many ways. But yeah, so Black love seems to have out there in the world this struggle mindset. And I don't like that. I don't feel that our love should be a struggle and that your relationship is true if you've weathered many storms. And of course, relationships are not perfect. Like, we're not perfect human beings. There's no such thing. That doesn't exist. And there are going to be conflicts and things that you overcome as a couple. But if the marker of success is that it was a struggle, I'm not really down with that version of
I
Black
don't want
love.
it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I found another one. That one is, why is Black love beautiful?
Mm.
What makes Black love unique and beautiful is that it's born in a place that has not been given fertile soil and has
Mm-hmm.
fought through the weeds to survive. Again, there's that thing you're talking about, Chantal. Love is beautiful in all forms, but there is nothing as valuable to a Black person as Black love. It's the closest thing to true freedom that we have. And that's from notrudeandhonest.com.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes. That one,
I
I
hear
feel
that.
like, yeah,
Okay, I hear that. I hear
yeah.
that. I mean, I think the issue is that everything to do with Black identity, or let me be mindful, with Western Black identity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we're talking about Black love, is there such a thing as Black love in Africa?
It's just
Right?
love, isn't
It's
it?
just love, right? So we're looking at Black love in Western spaces like colonized spaces. I mean, it's less so in the Caribbean, but if we're looking at in the US, in the UK, Europe, wherever, right? A lot of the associations of things that of value are associated with struggle. So when you hear in a lot of, like, say, for example, hip hop songs, or even in reggae songs also, there's a lot of speaking a lot about struggle. Looking at the birth of jazz music, struggle. If you look at the birth of so many movements in terms of just many things that formulate Western Black identity, it is the association with struggle. So therefore, as if there is a value added to something, if there's a struggle. Because let's look at Will Smith and Carlton in Fresh Prince, right? Carlton was not seen as black or black enough. Why? Because he wasn't struggling, right? He didn't grow up in no struggle.
Yep.
He didn't grow up in the hood. Remember, they had an episode about that. And
Yep.
Carlton had to pull Will up on that and
Yep.
say, I'm not any less black than you just because I did not struggle. So this association with something is black, the more you struggle, right? And therefore Black love has this extra added layer to it, which it does. Don't get me wrong, eh? But this association of blackness and struggle is something that, I'm like, okay, we are not monolithic. There are many variants of Black love, right? And in Africa, they don't have the same struggles that Black people who live in Western societies have. That's my 5 cents.
I hear you, Fiona. I feel that if you're coming from the Caribbean, if you grew up in the Caribbean, you grew up in a country in Africa, where the love that you're seeing is, Black primarily, then yeah, that particular terminology seems quite foreign. But then even growing up in the Caribbean, I've seen a lot of unhealthy Black love. And we have to remember that we learn the way to be in relationship by what we see and what is around us. And for me, it's been a balance. I've seen really beautiful relationships around me, but I've seen ones that now, as an adult, I can definitely recognize as toxic, but people stayed in them. People stayed in these relationships because, as you were saying, Fiona, there is this connotation that is not real unless there's been struggle, right? And so what I want us to do is to actually speak on why Black love is important to you as an individual, why you feel healthy Black love is important to our community, and also any experiences that you may have had being in relationship with someone outside of our community and how that felt and how you felt that was received externally.
I know you're coming straight to me with that
one. No, but let's break it down. Let's break it down, right, Sherween? Why do you feel, why do you as an individual, why is Black love important to you? Why do you feel that as a wider community, healthy Black love, you know, it's important that that is represented more than the struggle love, of course, that seems to take up a lot of space. And what has your experience been, if you have actually been in relationship with someone outside of the Black community, and what kind of drove that?
I'll have to go into a little bit of background, just a little bit. I don't want to be too long. Black love to me is important. I grew up thinking love, I did not really know what love was. I was never really exposed to love that was healthy, if you get what I'm saying. My background, my parents, their relationship was toxic as fuck. My dad is a free spirit and he does what he wants. My mom, on the other hand, very much more reserved, and probably my mom was very well read from a very early age. And she probably had these ideas from, my mom told me what the first set of books she started reading was Mills and Boons. So my mom grew up with these ideas of what love should look like, and she's comparing it to what she has. So the entire time I knew my mom was unhappy in her relationship with my dad, always unhappy. I remember they had some good times, but majority of it was always unhappy because my dad is a free spirit, free thinking, does what he wants, very much a Caribbean man. So I never really grew up around love that was not toxic, that was not constantly fighting or quarreling. I didn't have any role models in a sense that could show me what true, real, strong Black love is. I don't have that. So I grew up seeing, one of the things I said was I would never stay in a relationship with a man that makes me unhappy, as in fighting, quarreling, cheats, outside children, them type of thing. No, I'm not doing that. So I said from day one, but however, I did not know what a healthy relationship was. I don't know what healthy love looked like. I did not know at the time what healthy love looked like. So I grew up making decisions, a lot of bad decisions, maybe just wanting some comfort or some company. And I took that for love, which it wasn't. So I am now finding out what Black love is, what love is. What's important to me is just to feel listened to, somebody who will be compassionate. I want to feel like this person actually cares about me. This person is my friend, because I don't think my mom and dad were friends. A lot of the relationships I grew up around, I don't think these people were friends, or if they were, they don't know the definition of friendship, because the things they did to one another, you wouldn't do that to a friend. much less your partner, your lover, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. So one of the things, and this is me discovering that now, last year, one of the things I would want in a partner is for that person to be my friend, that person to treat me the way I would treat my true friends. Because if you have that, I think that's probably the best grounding. And you see it all the time. If the person is your friend, make sure you love your friend, blah, blah, blah. But I never really experienced it before. Because a friend you will not just walk away from. You will not treat like crap. You actually care about that person, care how they feel, care about their well-being, care that they're safe, care that, you understand? Their day is going all right. That's what I want. When I say Black love or love, this is what I'm looking for in a partner, for a friend first. That's very important to me. In terms of being in a relationship with somebody outside of our community, yes, I was married to a Yorkshireman for 12 years. Was it intentional that I went out there and find a white man? No, it wasn't. Was I looking for something I thought I would find outside of my community? No, I wasn't. The way it happened was I met this person and we both needed each other for various reasons. And we both decided that, you know what? I want to make it work. I want to have a go with this person. I want to make it work. I want to try with this person. It was not a case of, and I say that because a lot of, we still hear it. We still hear. I head downhill a lot. Me, I just want to go and find a white man to take care of me. Me, I just want to find a man. Why you going to look for a white man that'll treat you better? Nah. Nah, this is coming from us watching too much TV. This is coming from Disney. This is coming from that brainwashing that they've done to show us what love is on television. It's not. That's not what it's like in real life. I was married to a white man for 12 years. And trust me, they're just as bad as all men. They're just as bad. Okay, they all, and even the ones I was not married to, I was not with romantically, but I had a lot of white friends, and I was there watching their relationships and their family structure, and they're just as bad. They're just as bad. Good as well. There are some that were very lovely, but they're just as bad. And sometimes worse, because the things they did to each other and the partners that they claim to love, I would think, I could never do that to the man I love. I could never do that. But they do. So I just want us to decolonize our brain when I hear people say, why you going to get a white man, or a white woman, I want to take care of me. Hey.
Trigger alert.
Wake up. All right, we don't live, television is not real life. It don't work that way. It genuinely don't. Okay, and no, they're not more understanding. No, they're not more soft. No, you can't walk all over them. Hell no. Just remember, that's the colonizers.
Boy,
I'm sorry.
Portier, just drop the mic now.
That's the colonizers. So
you've made such a good point, because there is this perception that you can walk over them and you can just take them from, and they will just dote all over you. Maybe they'll dote over you in the beginning.
For a while, just like any normal relationship, that infatuation stage, hell yes, you will get it. But after, my friend, afterwards, and that's where I believe you have to put in work for anything, any relationship or anything. That is where I believe if you want to put in work with somebody who will watch you, talk down to you, want to belittle you, or make you believe that you're beneath them, then that's your problem. That's up to you if you want to do that. I was married to my ex-husband for 12 years. And in the beginning, it was amazing. It was. My husband was not a bad person, but he did something bad, to break up what we had. And just because he was a white man, I wouldn't stay with him just because he was a white man. And yes, he took me on with my 2 daughters and this and that. That I would not stay. I would not stay, just like I wouldn't with any other person. But what happened was I saw both sides of that person. I saw both sides of him. And trust me, the other side is not pretty. It's not. Just like I saw the other side of my other exes. It's not pretty too.
You're right.
You get me?
Right.
So to me, love is friendship first. And I have had a lot of friends from other races, and some of them, it comes to the point where I just have to say, you know something, I don't feel maybe I could be a friend to you because I don't know, it's not working, or I don't think I need you in my life as a friend because I do not like this or I do not like that. And that's fine too. And for me to be in a relationship with somebody, they need to be my friend. I need to feel like this person is putting in the effort for me as a friend first, not just a lover or partner or a wife or girlfriend. No, I want you to be my friend. And sometimes, yeah, it don't work out that way. But I must say, let me just say, closing, my ex-husband is my friend. I know he was my friend. I knew he was my friend. And one of the saddest parts when we got divorced was I felt like I missed my friend. I always wanted him in my life. And now he's still in my life. He's still a friend. He's still there. He's still the father of my kids. But I know I could never, and there's no possibility of it happening. A man married, long married, but I would never go down that route again of marrying or being with somebody outside my race. I couldn't do it.
Why? Why is that, Sherween?
Because I will always recognize that, maybe it's me, I will always recognize the difference. I will always recognize, and maybe I'm not ready to shut off looking. You know, when I say, what I mean by that is the point I am at in my life. If somebody outside my race says something to me or says something to me that I believe, I will question everything. I will always question. I'll say, where's that coming from? What do you mean by that? And I don't think that's healthy in a relationship either. I don't think it's fair on them to be constantly questioning, or it's like I'm looking for something. So I will not do that. I will not put myself or them through that. You understand? So I might as well just stay within my race where I know that big thing is not a problem. I don't have to think about that type of thing. That's not what I need to be worrying about or questioning. You get me? So it's just ease for me. Ease. So yeah, that's my take on it.
This week, Under the Mango Tree brings you a reading of the poem Soul by author Gairey Collins from the book 7. This book was recently released, and this poem somehow resonates so deeply with me. I find it mesmerizing. Enjoy.
Soul. Your timid mind frustrates your beautiful soul. Your fragile heart knows too much of its fragility. Your willing body pushes tirelessly with less than ample direction. Your empty eyes are see-through. Your beautiful soul burns within. When will you realize your worth? How soon will you know your value? Trickling streams of silent triumphs, muted victories, but not for humility, but for ignorance, 'cause you know not that you've won. Yet somehow I believe you will be set free, and what your beautiful soul knows, one day you too will see.
So much to think about, right? When it comes to Black love and its importance to us as individuals. Fiona, what about you?
My take is Black men are sexy. That's all. Finish. and then finish.
You're done. You're
I like
done.
the complexions. I like the kink of the hair. Like when I pass my hand through your hair, I'm feeling texture, I'm feeling curls, I'm feeling coils. I like that when I say something, you just get it. Like, or even just look at you across the room and you guys you check what I'm saying. Like there's certain nuances, there's certain things like if I'm looking at my partner, I have to feel this like oomph for you. And I recognize the beauty of other races. Okay. Of course I do. In terms
Of
of when I look
course,
at,
yeah.
and it's not just white people, you know. When you're talking about, because the thing is, when you're talking about marrying outside, a black person marrying outside of their race, the number one visual reference we have is somebody white. Now, let's be real. There are very, very high percentages of black people, in particular black men, marrying outside their race, right? And specifically to white women. We know this, okay? Now, okay, whatever. But when we're thinking about other races, let's not stop giving white people like as if it's them alone that we get married to. Look at, hey, I find some Polynesian men absolutely beautiful.
Go.
Send me to
Don't
Tahiti
ever drop me
today,
on any of them
okay?
countries.
Right? Then I also find certain Japanese men very beautiful. Then I also find Sikh men. You see them Sikh fellas there with I find some of them beautiful, and when they drop their long hair, absolutely stunning. There are beautiful men from all over the world of all different races. Right? It's not that I know to find them attractive. No, I do. I recognize the beauty in them. But when I'm thinking about somebody to be like, yo, just for me, the person has to be black, and there are just certain cultural connections that we have that's important to me. It may not be important to everybody, but these things are important to me. It's that just like Sherween was talking about having a friendship, you want to have someone who understands certain things about you that you don't need to explain. And I think that there are certain things that not just if I married a white man, people from other races would not understand me and understand that part of me. And I think that's just something that's important for me. And I just say, yes, see what black men look like. Come on. You see their back. Like when you see their
As
backs,
a
so like and their legs, their arms, everything.
That's
Their
they're
feet,
fine.
everything.
They're
The noses, the
fine.
smile, just the hair, everything. Like, yo, this is too much, just too much love. Okay. So that is my very quick and concise take on it.
Yeah, but that's the superficial, the look.
So I'm
The
to you.
look.
Now
Huh?
let me tell you something. I'm sorry for me, okay? Note I'm saying for me. Okay, aesthetics does play a role for me. I'm an artist, guys. I'm a visual person. I have to watch you and be like, yo, because guys, when you is the oomph that carries you through. My friend Tariba always says that. You know, she's been married for a while. And she said it's the oomph when you go through the problems and you're going through your ups and downs. Even when you are the maddest at that person, you still have to look at them and be like, yo, wow. You have to have that oomph. It's needed in a relationship for you to kind of have, it's not superficial, it's like having that attraction to them is necessary, otherwise you just end up being friends, which is what happens in a lot of marriages.
Roommates.
Transition into friendships.
Yep.
Right.
And you're not getting married to someone who's just your friend. It's someone that you're going to be physically intimate with, that you want to have that passion with. So yes, I do, and I don't just see physical attraction as superficial, because it can be very intense. It could be something that connects people so much, right? On a different emotional plane than you do with your friend, right? And I need to be, I'm sorry, if I'm going to get married to somebody, I need for when my husband walk into the room, it's for me to say, Monsieur, right? That's what I do want that. It's very important to me. And I want him to feel the same about me too.
Yes. That's important. That's very, very important. I like when my partner watches me to be like, boy, Gasa, you're real looking good. Eh?" That's
Yeah.
important as well.
Chantal.
I have, for most of my life, been on my soapbox as an advocate for Black on Black love, I have to be honest and say I was never open to being in relationships with anyone outside of my race for many reasons. Not having to explain certain nuances in my day-to-day life, not having to constantly break down why this matter means so much to me, or why I tie my head at night. And yes, these are very superficial things, but they're important to me. I don't want to spend my relationship explaining who I am, right? So I have not been very open. I think there was a moment when I was living in England where I wasn't finding connection with Black men. They weren't seeing me. I was pretty much invisible because so many Black men in our community were looking for love outside of our community. And if they weren't looking outside, they were looking on the physical level, and as you said, Fiona, there's that first attraction, right? They were not looking at women who look like me. I am not mixed race. I don't present as mixed race. I don't have the curly hair. I am not racially ambiguous. So even though they may not have considered that they were looking outside of the community because they were with someone who had parents or heritage steeped in Blackness, those women were more often than not mixed with another race. And I hate speaking about race like that, mixed and this and that. But for the sake of this conversation and, what I'm sharing, it is necessary. And so I thought, well, I love being in relationships. I love love. I want to find someone to build with. Am I cutting off my nose to spite my face by not being open to men who are not Black? And so for a very brief interlude, I decided to be a little more open. I went on a few dates with non-Black men. Some of them were good. Some of them were not great.
When that
Where were they
happened, I have
from?
so many questions.
Yeah.
Oh, no, just do random people. Just random people.
Fiona, I hate the fact that you
No,
bring
no,
the same thing.
No, but were they white? Were they Indian? Were they what? Like,
all sorts. I said I was gonna be open, so I was open.
all sorts, like, okay. Guys, will give
Like
us a little something. I
Asian,
mean,
Caucasian, Asian, everything. I was open. I mean, I do have Korean men for me. There are some Korean men that I find extremely attractive. And so I may have been on dates with a few, but I ended up in a relationship with someone from Malaysia. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that was interesting.
Yes, I'm listening. To me, I never hear about that man.
I had fun. We had fun. And what I loved about him was that he was a chef. It always comes back to food, man. And he was so passionate about food. He would take me to some of the most wonderful hidden gems of restaurants in London. Just wonderful. And then we shared, because he grew up in Malaysia, there's that tropical culture that we shared. So even in that, there were certain things that he didn't have to explain to me, and vice versa, right? When we're talking about mango season and, and coconut rice and tamarind and, so we had, there was definitely, some shared cultural aspects, the way that he grew up in home and his parents were all about academics. But he was like, secretly, I want to be a chef. And how they were like, you want to cook? He's like, no, I want to be a chef, and not being supported by his parents for that until he was extremely successful in that world. And all of a sudden he was like, oh, my son. So, there were aspects that we definitely had in common, and that was nice. But ultimately it didn't work out. And after that didn't work out, and after I had tried to date outside of my race, I sat down with myself. And I was like, Chantal, what do you really want? What do you want? What do you want? And I want to be in a healthy, thriving relationship with a Black man. That is what I want. And so I tried, and I have come back to, and it was a very brief interlude. It didn't even last beyond 2 years of me, being open. I'm open. And so, yeah, in terms of relationship, I want to be in relationship, healthy, thriving relationship with a Black man. And it's important to me because I want others to see that. I want others to see healthy Black love. And healthy Black love is out there. And I also want our community to know that, as Fiona has said, as Black people, we are not a monolith. We are not. I like nerds. Whether you're Black, white, Asian, whatever, I'm attracted to men who are somewhat nerdy. And that went across the races. So even when I was dating outside of my race, I still found myself being attracted to that certain element. Men that read. And there's just something about that that I find extremely attractive. A man that I can sit down and have conversations about the sun, the moon, the stars, politics, whatever. I find that really attractive across the races. But when it comes to my loving and who I want to frolic with and who I want to dance under the stars with and swim in the ocean and sit down and read and talk about bell hooks, yeah, I want that to be a Black man. If I was still able to have children biologically, I would want to have my children with a Black man, because I think that it's important that we continue to nurture and build future generations of healthy Black people. And when I say healthy, I mean mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And there's almost a sense, and I don't want to minimize love to being a responsibility, but there's almost a sense of responsibility that I feel towards my ancestors who were not given the chance, the freedom, or the opportunity to love up on us. So I almost, for me, there's a little bit of, I want to show them that we are free to do this and we're doing it in the most edifying, nurturing ways, and that our love doesn't have to be struggle and toxic. So I almost feel that sense of, I'm doing this for them too. So yeah,
That's a great
that
point,
is how I feel about Black love.
Yeah.
Being Caribbean, being of the Caribbean, if we were going to break it down to DNA, so many of us are mixed. We are.
Yep.
Or biracial or triracial. I don't even know if that's a term, triracial, whatever. But and race is a societal construct. We know why it was created, right? But there's just, for me, a calling is part of my purpose to just show that love and feel that love. And I'm so happy to see so many platforms dedicated to that, to healthy. In fact, I think there's a Black love documentary or documentary series that is now a movement in America, where the purpose of it is to show, spotlight, highlight, and celebrate healthy Black love. And healthy Black love, let me be clear, doesn't necessarily mean that everything is always hunky-dory perfect.
No, it
doesn't. That is a fallacy.
It doesn't. That's the Disney. That's the Disney.
That's the fairy tale. That's the happily ever after Prince Charming narrative that we have been force-fed. Real humans are flawed. We are flawed. But in healing, in focusing on our own healing, we are then focusing on the healing of our community, right? And therefore, we are healing our love. So Black love to me is a healing.
Absolutely. A friend of mine, he's doing a beautiful film called Slave Ships to Relationships. And it's
interesting.
kind of talking, well, not kind of, it is talking about, and I love the line, but I think it's really talking about us working through all of those different things. And when you're speaking about your ancestors, Chantal, I think that's a great point. Like, we don't think about the things that we take for granted and the opportunities to really truly love upon each other and celebrate each other. They could not.
No, they couldn't.
Not. So it's even looking at, because yes, we were taught a lot of self-hatred, but we were also taught not to love each other either. And to have the freedom to and use that to love upon each other, Chantal. I think that's really beautiful. I think that's such a wonderful point. And as you say, looking at from slave ships to relationships, that's us. That's very much us. And there's a lot of healing and a lot of things for us to work through. And how can we really heal ourselves if we're not focusing on each other and on the community in its entirety? Now you're making my thing sound so shallow. They say, yeah, boy, black men sexy. And Chantal's like, I'm doing it for my ancestors.
Y'all are so silly.
Oh,
No, but you
boy.
know, it's a lot. It's a lot. And as a community, you know, we haven't been set up for a life of ease and loving up on one another, but we can
No.
sure change that. And we have the power to change that. So in essence, for me, Black love is revolutionary. It truly is. Because for so long, we were told and forced to do otherwise. So in us being intentional about the love that we receive and give within our community, we are being revolutionary about that. So let's keep it going. That's how I feel.
Amen.
Let's keep it going. All
I love
right.
I love this episode.
It's
That's
nice.
nice, Kasa. It's nice.
Yeah. So, ladies, speaking of love and joy, what's bringing you joy these last few days? As if I need to ask.
I mean,
But
boy, I think we answered that one already.
I gotta ask. Fiona, what has brought you joy in the last few days? Like, hello.
Discovering my country again. Falling back in love with my country every day is something new to appreciate. And yesterday definitely was one of the highlights of my life, I would say. You
Oh,
know?
wow,
Yeah, man.
Fiona.
Because you know what? Like, I was watching a friend's stories today, and they're in Dubai, living it up in all the opulence, right?
Of course, of
And I'm
Dubai,
like,
right.
and I was watching, I'm like, that's nice. Okay. But my day was better yesterday, and I was there barefoot, just like,
Right.
I don't know, like, see when you're in good company, good energy. And you know, one of the things I have to say is how many of us crossed? 5 of us crossed the body of water, right? To go to Red Island, and 4 of them don't know how to swim. And not at any
Wow.
point, yes, they were making jokes about, boy, the thing topple over, whatever. But everyone took upon a really positive attitude and just grabbed the opportunity, like, head first. Come on, let's go, let's do this kind of thing. And it was just this, even when we were confronted with challenges or new experiences, it's how it was taken on. And it really set the energy for the day. Like, yeah, like, because one of our friends, he, went through a very traumatic experience. He fell off a boat in between St. Lucia and St. Vincent in really deep water.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yes.
He's absolutely petrified of deep water. And he did it with like the most positive attitude. And he keeps like sending messages to say, thank you so much for yesterday. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful. And it was just, I just feel very blessed. And like I said, quick backstory. I went for my car to get service. I was sitting down by the beach reading an essay because I had to just stay and wait for like 3 hours. Then this old man passed, right? Very interesting looking man, because looked like he's Indian with like bright gray eyes, and he have locks and a beard and thing and whatever. But he's older, like in his 60s, 70s. Asked me what I do, and I said they're reading an essay. And we just ended up he sit down and started talking to me. And we were talking about all kinds of things. And then he just happened to mention, yeah, my friend over there who has a sea moss farm. I say, what? And then this is how it happened. And he introduced me to the man. And then, yesterday we have this person that we don't even know like that, dedicate his entire day to us, to fish for us, to show us the island, to show us his farm, to teach us all the different things about the sea moss, to stay there to roast the things with us, help us, just give, 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 give. So, I think it was just a very joyful experience. That's why I say in my whole life, it just showed me like how life can just give you gifts by just talking to people, just having conversations with people, just being open. And it taught me, I think that really taught me how life can manifest beautiful things if you allow it to.
Mm,
Yep.
indeed. Sherween, I don't even need to ask you what brought you joy this week. You've already said at the top of the show.
It's I cannot top what Fiona said, but to me, it's just, it shows me what it is to be alive. You understand? Yesterday I felt alive. I was one of the people that cannot swim going across. Yeah, I can't swim. But don't laugh. Don't laugh, because by the time we went across and when we came back, I felt so at ease in the water that I said to the guy, I'm going to swim across with a float. And that's what I did.
Amazing.
Don't get me wrong. I had the rope for the canoe around me and I let that go. But just being in the open water, Chantal, I felt, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain, because I'm like, not one point was I scared. I was never scared. I never felt fear. I just let go and allow life to happen, allow myself to live and enjoy the moment intentionally. I love that word. Intentionally enjoy every moment of being in the water, crossing over the water, whether I was lying in the canoe whilst a beautiful man pulled me across and I feeling like the princess, and coming back, and I was just in heaven. So that's what's bringing me joy, enjoying, savoring those moments, savoring those little moments, and just holding on to it like, yes, this is living. This is what I left the UK for. This, to live, to actually live and not survive. And this is why it was so important to me yesterday. The whole build up to it, experiencing it, and the feeling afterwards when I came home. When I came home, I had a most beautiful shower. I lay down in my bed. It was 8 o'clock and I was in bed just reliving the moment, and I fell asleep beautifully and I woke up very early this morning happy. That's living for me. That's it. So Chantal, what's brought you joy this week?
You know what's brought me joy this week? Hearing you and Fiona speak about this magical experience. That is what has brought me joy. Simple so. Honestly, it's been so lovely just to hear you recount your story, your experience, how you guys were feeling. That has brought me a lot of joy. I can't front. It has. I'm quite happy with that.
Yes, listeners, on that note, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here with us. What are your thoughts on Black love? What is Black love to you? What does it mean to you? Let us know. Feel free to contact us via Instagram or via email. All the information will be in the show notes. And we just want to thank you. Thank you for all the messages we've been receiving lately. We're very, very thankful.
All of them?
All of them. All of them. All of them.
All of them. Oh.
We're happy.
Oh. No,
we're happy for the conversations.
Yes,
we're happy for the conversations. So thank you, and we look forward to receiving them. So thanks again, and remember, everybody, a shared journey brings hope.
Bye.
Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.